League began racing in the early 90s with Papyrus's NASCAR Racing and has grown over the decades, now racing on the iRacing platform. The AOLL.
You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
It's time for the Ghostfire Media Network podcast show, featuring the stars of iRacing's IVRL and the AOLL. Now, here's your host, the Ghostfire Media Network crew.
I didn't even have my iPad set up with whatever. We're back. We're here. Hey, welcome everybody to Ghostfire Media, the podcast. We're here at lucky number 13, episode 13. I'll be your host tonight, Larry Patrick, alongside
Josh Laston.
You want to talk to me? Hey, It's Randy Cover alongside my good friends here, Larry Patrick and Josh Laston. Yeah, we're out here in beautiful Daytona Beach in the Daytona Beach studio. It's good to see you guys.
I really wish I was in Daytona Beach, man. That'd be fantastic. It's
Ormond Beach, actually. I shouldn't say Daytona. I should say Dirktona if I'm going to refer to Daytona.
And anybody that caught that very beginning of this, apparently my night's already starting rough. I started the intro was the AOLL commercial for the podcast instead of the intro for the podcast. So I had to switch all that around. So it should be an interesting night tonight. But
we're going to hear a few excuses from Larry about the fact that his tower's dead and
I wasn't saying
he's
that.
going to run off the laptop.
I didn't say that. I wasn't even going to say that. See, look. I am gonna power up my iPad though, so I can get Stream Deck going. But anyways, so we got an exciting show here tonight. IVRL had a wild week. They've had a wild 2 weeks. So we're gonna get into that. We got special guest Charles Urich. And then we're going to talk about the TNT series. We're going to talk trucks. We're going to talk Cup. And then we're going to jump in and we're going to finally introduce Fuel. We're supposed to be having some, at least one guest from Fuel coming on tonight. So it'll be the first introduction to this new series that we will be broadcasting roughly around mid-July. So real quick, let's go ahead and hear from our buddy Pat Patterson.
Hi, it's Pat Patterson, the racing guy. You're listening to the Ghostfire Media Podcast.
Yeah, well, there's Pat Patterson, right?
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about that is, we can sit there and we can look and everybody gets to stare at us and everything like that. But I never muted the audio because I don't have one of my programs running. That's my fault. That is not my desktop's fault.
I would be happy because then I decided to wear my Pit Road Pickers T-shirt tonight. So, he would be proud. And it's 8:30 or 8:03. He's probably already in bed.
Well, hey, as we talked, we got a lot to talk about, especially with this first one. So let's go ahead and bring in our first guest from the IVRL, Mr. Charles Urich. Charles, man, how you doing tonight?
Hanging in there.
Charles, no camera tonight, bud?
No.
Darn.
Sounds like it's a night that we may not want him on camera.
No.
I want to point out that I'm going to read you exactly what I got sent when I asked him if he wanted to be on, and he said, LOL, sure. I knew it was coming at some point anyway.
That's good. That's great.
Now, but you've been on before, right? I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah, it was before the Circuit of the Americas.
That's right. Yep. See, so
I'll start with a little bit of lighthearted. You're the first driver we've got to talk to that has actually raced on Nashville Superspeedway. Drama aside, what are your takes on the track?
Oh, I thought it raced pretty good. I was surprised though. Me and Harvey we were running up there up front from the first stage. I figured out turn 1 and 2, but turn 3 I could never really get the hang of because you come off turn 4 and the wall's right there. And a lot of people are smacking the wall.
I ran 11 laps there in practice on Tuesday, and I think I missed the wall out of turn 4 twice.
I ran a pickup race at Nashville Super Speedway on, I don't know what night it was, but I think it was Wednesday night after the truck race. I actually ended up second in that race. So I ran good there.
Yeah, every time
I like that track.
Every time I get even near turn 4 and notice that I was heading towards that wall, I'd lift out of it.
Yeah, you have to.
So, what is this track drive? I mean, they call it a super speedway, and I've been still trying to figure out why they call it a super speedway.
Nick would have told you if he was here.
I'm sure he would.
I actually know the answer to this.
Yeah, there is an answer to
Oh,
it.
you're the Nick tonight? All right, let's hear it.
It's any track over a mile is capable of being called a super speedway.
Tragic.
Yep. That is the definition.
I got to know, Charles, did that track drive like a super speedway?
No.
That's an easy.
It was
easy
nowhere
answer.
even close to a super speedway.
Charles, did you notice any draft? I actually kind of felt like we got a little bit of drafting going on there. Did you notice that?
No, not really. I don't know. Some of the runs, I feel like you had to drive it a little deeper into corners and stuff. But I never really noticed any draft or anything.
Talking about that driving deeper. I know you couldn't see it because you're behind, but Christian Converse, when he was catching up to Causey, he would run the turn really, really hard. He'd run hard in, and then he would lose momentum coming off. But he kept doing that, and finally, the very last lap, he was able to get around Causey. But he was running that hard line you're talking about, hard in and soft off.
So, I got to know. I've got to delve into it. I've got to go there quick, fast, and in a hurry because I don't even know if we have enough time to talk about all of it. One of my favorite places to eat around here is this chicken place, but it's called it's a Peruvian place, but it's a llama. I can't remember what the hell it's called, but my wife calls it the Drama Llama. So now this right here, this race, the Drama Llama race, right? What
2 races ago or this one?
I want to talk this one because we did go into that a little bit last week as far as last week goes. So we want to start here on this one, man. What from your perspective happened to cause the turn of events that ultimately led to Gaithright getting a 2-race suspension?
Well, I'm going to back it up. At Nashville, I had got engine damage from the Michael Payne wreck. So I was down 20 horsepower. And it took me a while to figure out how to, drive the corners to keep up with everybody because obviously they were going to pull away from me on the straightaways. So it took me a while to figure it out, but eventually I figured out if I drove it super deep into the corner, like I was turning into the corner on the throttle and then hard on the brake to be able to catch anybody. So I was doing that and I was catching Joshua, but then he'd pull away from me on the straightaways. So, I mean, when I caught him in turn 3, it was like, I don't know, it was like he braked earlier than he did the previous laps, and then I ran into the back of him, which, from the All-Star race and all that, I kind of expected to get blocked a little bit, but coming out of 4, I was fully committed to going on the bottom, and then all that happened. So
Yeah. That was,
for the people that did not see what we're talking about, kind of explain from your point of view what you saw in the car.
Well, after I ran into him and I don't know, I like to say wrecked himself because it wasn't really that sideways, but and then I turned around, smacked the wall. I kind of figured because the crew chief was saying past the 89, and once we started getting going, he came down in the tri-oval, and I was like, oh no. So I swung wide in turn one, and I couldn't see him anymore because I was so high up in the corner. And about that time, I seen his car, and straight into the wall I went.
Yeah, that was uncalled for to be needless to say, right? Like that's
yeah.
So we've beat around the bush, and for those that haven't seen it, essentially, there was a very blatant retaliation that pretty much took both of these guys out of the race.
Well, it really took me out because I made one lap around, came in, I got within 4 or 5 boxes of my pit stall, and my engine blew up.
Oh, I hate that.
So I finished 14th, and he finished, I think, 11th or something.
Yeah,
But
he was 11th.
He was still running.
well. This goes back to a week ago with more incidents and him running into people under caution, if I'm thinking correctly.
Well, All-Star Race was, I don't know what you want to call that.
Free for all.
if you want good quality arcade style wrecking when you're racing, go watch lap 20 to 30.
I mean, the All-Star
race.
All-Star Race, though, I mean, I was mad, and I was trying so hard to get to him. But when I eventually got to him and we wrecked, I wasn't trying to hit him.
Right.
I was on the brake turning, and I'd already lost it. The car was already sideways, and I was chasing it up the hill trying to save it, and I got into it. It wasn't intentional. It was just,
Yeah, we had something almost like that, right? What was what series was it? Was it Carl?
Yes.
He had gotten spun.
That was him and Sean Hayes.
Yeah. It was something like that where we had a guy in the TNT series. He got tapped and lost it, and then like 2 turns later, just gets into the back of the guy. But me and Randy got shocked, right? We were like, "Oh, that was intentional. That's retaliation." Carl was like, "No."
No, you're talking about that one. That was Martinsville, him and Blake Ziti.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the first race of this season when Carl accidentally spun Sean, and then he spent the entire night trying to do the exact same thing to Carl. Tried to do it after the checkered flag, and then completely missed Carl as he was going into the pits.
Jesus. But I mean, ultimately, Gaithright, he ended up getting a 2-race suspension, and I got to say that there's a lot of chatter that happens in the IVRL Discord. First and foremost, a lot. And I have since, because when I'm at work and everybody's chatting it up, it blows up my phone, and I'm like, I can't be having this. So I finally muted it. And the other day, Adam was like, or one of the guys was like, "Yo, it is live right now in their Discord channel." And I went in and I started reading all the comments. And I'm going to tell you what, one of the most entertaining reads I have had in a long time. And obviously, it made the admins work a lot.
Yeah, the comment about your mother and all that stuff was funny.
yeah. First, it was put on slow mode, and then eventually, Cody just completely disabled the channel.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, there was a moment I was like, these are some really elementary, middle school comebacks right now.
I think they pointed that out themselves. I think they said that.
Your mom, and I was like, that wasn't even a good "your mom" joke.
No, it wasn't, but it was kind of funny. I was like,
It was.
I was going to hear about your mom.
A grown man making a your mom joke at the most wrong time.
Your mom was so fat.
She jump up in the air and get stuck. But no, I'll tell you what, that was some good reads, man. But like I said, he's been suspended for 2 races per the admins, and deducted points. I believe it was 50.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, doing that stuff that takes a lot, especially in a series like the IVR where there's no fast repairs. You know, it's one thing in one of these series that if you have a fast repair, yeah, it sucks because you have to use your fast repair, but at least it doesn't hurt you too much, right? Like, unless you get into another wreck. But in IVRL, if you get wrecked intentionally, you're just crap out of luck for the better terms.
Yeah, I was done. I had like a 40-minute required repair. I was like, there's no way.
No, you might as well
Look
drop out
at
at
it.
that point.
No matter how mad you get on track, and even if you are planning on doing that, I feel like you'd try to make it look like a bit more of an incident. You guys were going to be coming to a restart. Maybe you go a little bit wide and take him out when we're moving, to where at least you could say, "Oh, I broke the back end loose."
Well, when Weatherby got into him and turned him, that's all he was talking about. Come here, Weatherby. Come here. I'm gonna get you. I'm like, oh God. But there was a lot of cars around that general area, so he didn't do it.
Right.
But poor Tom. Tom just slid right in there and ran into me after the fact.
Yeah, and you know the crazy thing is, I got lucky enough to have a nice lunch date today with one of the drivers from the IVRL, and we were sitting there, we were kind of talking about it a little bit, and you know, and he made the comment that a couple of people came to his defense, but he was like, it's not even anybody outside his team. I mean, to a certain point, if it's only your team sticking up for you, you might have to sit back and think, hey man, maybe I'm the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we should throw that up on "Am I the Asshole" on Reddit. See what happens.
Yeah, hey, that right there, I tell you what, that'd be a good one, man. Like, just any time that something happens in an incident, just put it in Reddit and "Am I the asshole?" You know, let's get people's perspective.
Were you born an asshole? Bet you got an asshole for a wife.
Hey, Justin said it takes a genuine skill to wreck someone and make it look like an accident. The wreck under caution was the only thing he has in his wheelhouse because he's lacking. And I tell you what, Justin, I'll race Sunday, get around me, and I'll make it look like an accident if we get into a wreck.
Because it will be, because he'll just run out of talent.
My VR will go dead, okay?
You've already used that excuse once.
That's actually happened a lot lately.
And with the Oculus too. That's what scares me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people complaining about that.
The Quest 2s, that
I don't have it.
scares the daylights out of me, man.
Well, I've been having an issue with screen freezes while I'm racing, so.
Oh,
I've had that.
God.
Yeah. I've had that a couple of times.
I'll be
lately.
running at like 84 FPS, and it'll drop to 63, and the screen will freeze.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
I am
Same
very
here.
glad that hasn't happened to me. But
And
now
I have a
I've said
TV
that, it will.
I have a TV set. It's doing it to me. So it's I guess it's in the game or something.
That's because you got a TV set, buddy. It doesn't help that your TV's like one of those old school ones. You still got to turn the dials to find your channel, and it sticks out about good that far.
I have my kid that has this little punch button thing. She sits back and he goes click 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 to find the channel. You probably don't, Larry. You probably don't even know what that is.
You'd be surprised.
The old school wired remotes?
No, not even that. No. The very first remotes they had two big white buttons on the top. Volume and channel.
And it made that ungodly clicking sound.
Yeah, it did. Click, click, click.
It was just obnoxious. You couldn't get rid of it. Sorry.
That was back in 42. Sorry, we got on a tangent there.
Yeah, there was that tangent. By the way, you watch old movies, Randy. Come on now. So, all right. So this week, I was actually trying to figure out where are we going this week.
Pocono.
Pocono.
Yeah. Your favorite track?
I love Pocono.
What do you think, man? How's that looking for you?
I don't know. I've ran good there in the past. Like, I ran a league last year, finished second in it. My favorite turn out of the whole track is turn 2, and everybody else hates turn 2.
No, I'm with you. I absolutely love the tunnel turn.
You lift out of it early and then get back in it quick.
Okay. So, do you think that this is your track then? That these guys are, I don't want to say that you're gonna dust them, but they're gonna realize it's your track. Like, are you gonna put a little statement out there for us this weekend?
I don't know, maybe.
So what are the odds that we see more of the same, the same players up front?
Oh, there's odds to that? Huh.
I'm just saying, yeah, what are the odds? We see Causey, Massey, Holt, all these guys that...
More than likely they'll be up there the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes it gets a little old after a while.
Although Nashville, though, I was surprised though. I figured they'd be up there the whole time, and they weren't.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you know the crazy thing about that race was Brandon, who made he made a point. He goes, I just got this track. I had zero practice, and I won the race. And I was the man, basically, is what he said. I was the man to beat. It was like just tooting his own horn. And it was like, okay, dude, go ahead. Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, we had Juan up there leading.
Yeah, Juan looked good, man. I was hoping Juan would get a better finish. I wanted to talk to him.
And Patrick was up there leading. I couldn't catch him.
Harvey out there, he said, hey, I finally had a good night. So maybe that was just that track that just... I mean, I know
why he ran better.
Why is that?
Because Adam wasn't in there to talk to him the whole time.
That's a good point. Harvey, maybe you need to kick Adam out of your chats. That's probably it. And I caught a good little bit of it, man. Even Carino was up there at one point, and I was like, look at this crap, man. Like,
Carino's tough, man. Though I mean, he's just tough. He's always a player up there, top 5. That wasn't surprising to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see this week go with Pocono. I mean, I think it'll be a good race to call and have fun.
I'd rather have a great run at Pocono and a terrible run at Road America than have a terrible run at Pocono and a terrible run at Road America.
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to these tracks, right, these style races or these races, it kind of the unknown. I mean, you kind of see the guys that either practice it or it levels the playing field, right? I mean, I liken it to Bristol Dirt, or now with the Nashville Super Speedway. It just came out. It's on the schedule. Right there, they throw it on schedule, and obviously I would say the big players wasn't out there practicing nonstop, and that's why it seemed like the playing field was leveled.
Yeah. I mean, I got it while I was at work, and I got it, and as soon as I got home, I downloaded it and practiced, a couple laps and stuff, and then went to race. But I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to Pocono, right? I mean, it's a bigger track, a little oddly shaped. I mean, it's just there's no track like it, right? I mean, you think of the short tracks, they're all about the same. Banking's different, but they're all about the same. Go ahead.
With this Pocono, different than old Pocono, where you didn't have those walls that surround the whole inside of the track.
Yeah.
So you spin, you're gonna hit a wall instead of going through grass.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks. I mean, but you know, when you really think about it, I mean, either situation really does suck. I mean, especially if you have no fast repairs. If there's a wall there, then you smack the wall. If there is, or if there is no wall and you go into the grass, the likeliness of the sim throwing a yellow flag is probably slim to none because you're not in anybody's way, which means you're now off the pace. So now you're going to come back on the track, probably lose 1 or 2 laps, and still could have a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about losing a lap at Pocono. If you get off in the grass, you can still hang in there for a stage break.
It's a big enough track that it's real difficult to go down a lap unless your vehicle is damaged beyond repair.
Completely trashed.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
but also that's the biggest reason why I actually love Pocono is every turn's different. It's the closest thing to being a road course without it actually being a road course. It's fast and it's tricky.
Yeah. That middle line, not the very outside line, but the middle line there in turn 1, that's a good line to run if you can't get to the bottom. But nobody wants to be up there where those massive bumps are.
No, that's a terrible place to be at.
Not the place. No. I used to like Pocono. I liked it when it was on the Papyrus. I don't like it anymore. I can't run it anymore.
Hey, so Harvey just said in the comments, he said, "Don't underestimate my ability to go a lap down. I went a lap down at Coda by myself."
You win the prize, Harvey.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's possible. Especially, I think it was last night. One of the guys slid down onto the infield, and it didn't bring out the caution, but they hit the tires and got stuck on the tires and had a tow. Like that random, you know, mishap that just causes you to tow, and the next thing you know, you've got this ungodly long tow. I mean, you're definitely losing a lap then.
Yeah. Or you get stuck in the wall.
There's been a lot of that going around lately.
Yeah, that's a crappy feeling, man.
I liked Harvey's post he made on IVRL about whoever painted the walls dark blue at Nashville. Your mom's a hoe.
What just
Didn't see that
What
one.
he said. He's right. I mean, you come off the turn, you don't know where, you can't tell where that wall is.
This man said your mom's a hoe. Jesus
That's what he
Christ.
said.
We're painting the wall blue.
Hey, Harvey said those walls can kiss my ass. Harvey, I feel like these walls on these tracks kiss your ass a lot, man. No offense. I've got a couple races. And I'm not talking about your bare ass. I'm talking about your car's ass when you're sliding up into them.
Oh,
Yeah, Harvey likes those walls.
This is gonna be an exciting week, right? I mean, we should see a little less drama with the league, especially. I feel like the admins they went straight, you know, lockdown on after this week. Do we see? I mean, obviously, we definitely see more clean racing. How do you feel like the field will react to this? Will you see people be a little bit more tentative, so that way people don't think that something's intentional?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, every week we're all racing each other hard anyway. So, I mean, as long as we communicate and talk to each other about getting in incidents, I mean, we should be fine. But the problem I have is when I get, you know, anybody, when you get run into and wrecked and nobody says a word about it, it gets under my skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed a lot of the IVRL compared to the AOLL is there's a lot of guys will wreck and just go on their way.
Yeah.
Where like in the AOLL, it seems like if you get wrecked, it's right immediately after. 99% of the time, you're gonna have, sorry man, my bad, or something.
That's what Tom did whenever he pushed up the track in 1 and 2 and turned me into the wall. As soon as he did it, he came over and said it was his fault. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be those few guys who are definitely, going to take responsibility for what they did.
But what about the ones that don't?
Yeah, those are the ones that are just a little too competitive.
those are the problems.
While I agree with that, all right. So, in my very short iRacing experience, I've noticed there are 3 types of people, right? There's going to be the ones that there's a wreck and they say, hey, my bad, that I got into you there. Or even say, hey, I don't know if I got into you there, but if I did, I apologize. And then you're going to have I take that back, 4 types. Then you're going to have your ones that when there's a wreck, they right away they say, hey, look, I don't know what happened. We'll talk about it after I review it. And that's kind of like that, hey, I'm not taking the blame for this. Screw you, buddy. And then you've got the guys that just don't say anything. Like, they just will not say anything, right? And then, of course, you got the guys that it's never their fault.
Yeah.
So.
I know that.
So, Charles, which one would you be?
I mean, I'd tell somebody it was my fault right off the bat.
Okay, you fall into that category. All right.
I tell people they piss off.
I didn't specifically tell that to Josh because I didn't think it was my fault that I ran in the back of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, the previous laps, he was going into that corner the same way, and then that specific lap, he changed it.
Yeah. That's a big thing. So, as we talked about, we got Pocono coming up. I want to grab some predictions on this. Let's start with Josh, work our way down, and finish with our guest of honor. So, Josh?
Mr. Brandon Massey.
I like that one. That was a pretty good one. Let me go with Adam Wood. Oh wait, he's still in Fayetteville. I'm gonna take our guest of honor, man. I'm gonna take Charles. He sounds really excited about this track, and anybody that is gun ho about a track, they got to have something with it, right? So I'm gonna go with Charles.
I'm gonna go with Greg Holt. I think that might be one of his better tracks. So
Let's go with Patrick.
Dang. Hey, somebody else took Patrick. That'd be Harvey.
So did Harvey.
Great minds think alike, right? Speaking of that, I'm still waiting on dude wipes. Why has GFM not been given our dude wipes?
And,
I'll send you dude wipes.
Thanks, man.
And I told you guys that Pat Patterson did not think that they were really what they were. He thought they were stuff that you used in the shop.
Jesus.
That's what he goes, no, those are the things that we had them on one of the cars, and they're like the things you use in the shop and you just wipe down in your car or something like that. I go, I don't think so, Pat. I think these are the things you wipe your butt with. He goes, really?
Hey, real quick. Hey, Weathersby, man, you can only pick one. It's either Patrick or Charles, man. You can't double dip. And Ed, I picked Adam. Obviously, as a joke, a shot at Randy there because obviously I know Adam's not going to be racing.
Exactly.
So, and that was the joke to last week's freaking podcast.
Yeah,
right?
last week.
So,
I forgot about our joke last week.
all right, Weatherby gave me a Patrick again. All right, man. Well, hey, that's going to do it for us, IVRL.
No, Charles didn't pick his pack. Charles didn't pick.
Yeah, he took Patrick.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, that's the hair dye. That is flat out the hair. I have been drinking and I knew who he picked. You're killing me, Randy. I ain't never seen Randy look so sad. Hey, Charles, man. Hey, we appreciate you coming. What?
What was that?
Defend yourself. I don't know. You were defending yourself.
Oh, I was going to defend myself. Yeah, listen, my daughter has a job with Disney. Okay,
You've told us.
she leaves in 2 days.
So jealous.
All right.
That's awesome.
Dad is having a meltdown. I mean, I can't sleep at night. I'm just freaking out. So bear with me. At least I'm here. Unlike Carl and Nick.
Well, Nick had a perfectly acceptable excuse. His dog had a grooming appointment.
That was Nick's excuse. And if you know, obviously in the team chat or the group chat, I was like, oh, that's a terrible excuse, right? Like, he could at least said he had to wash his hair or something. Give me a classic, like.
Yeah, really.
Not my dog has a grooming appointment. But anyhow,
blow off because I got gigs and stuff.
Yeah, right. Charles, man, we appreciate having you on, man, and obviously, hopefully, everything gets a little bit better and this drama kind of dies down, man. And good luck to you this week and win one for me, huh?
All right, I'll try to.
Have a good night, buddy.
See you, Charles.
All right, well, that'll do it for the IVRL. Let's go ahead. Let's take a quick minute break. And let's hear from one of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Randy from the Guitar Attic. Can we be serious for a second? Are you tired of being a loser? Can't do anything right? Feel like everyone's coming down on you all the time? Well, there's a way out. And I'm going to show you. Hey Mom, look what I learned. That's right. Pick up a guitar, learn how to play guitar. Automatically you're going to become a chick magnet. The ladies are going to love you. Your kids are going to think you're cool. So what you need to do is come down here to the Guitar Attic, 1672.5 Ridgewood Avenue in Daytona Beach, Florida, or go on guitarattic.com and buy yourself a guitar and automatically be the star of your neighborhood. That's guitarattic.com.
Reading shit. All right. And we're back. Sorry for that delayed because I was reading a message. Real quick.
Larry's sober at this point. Well,
yeah.
Sober-ish.
Give me a minute. All right. Give me a minute. I actually need to flip my light on so I can have, the brightness.
You're currently rocking the Nick Adams.
Eventually.
Nick Adams is working good for you right now, Larry.
Eventually, I will have my lighting fixed in this room, but for right now, until I get to that point. So just real quick in the comments, Justin Anderson. That's going to become a new thing for Justin Anderson, it seems like. Randy, since I don't think you have the comments up, it says Larry remembered the guest pick and he finished third once. His life's complete, so now mute his mic.
and we would, but unfortunately Larry's in charge of this, so we can't. He can just mute us.
That's actually factual. Yeah. Tim St. Jean said, drinking some Canadian coffee, Larry. Tim, I know you are. I am not. That's why I held the beer up. I have this one right here. It's from one of our local breweries. It's actually Belgian Triple Ale. This is for the 13th episode of the show, getting away from some of the American beers. Oh, well, I guess this is American beer. I got some German beer down here. John said, "Is that what it's called now? Grooming the dog, huh? Who knew?" That's pretty good. That's fun. That's a good one. I like that one. So,
escape for tonight. I'm gonna groom the dog.
I can never remember. Don Wright Corp. I know it's a business. Who are you again, though? Because I can't remember. I know they don't have Facebook, and they comment based off of that. So I need the name again. I cannot remember for the life of me.
I'm just waiting for Larry to have an aha moment.
I won't have it. They'll.
What? Take on me?
Blake.
Oh, it's Zeddy.
It's
Zeddy.
Yeah.
Huh. The Pasta Man. All right, well, never mind. There you go. All right, so this is perfect that the Pasta Man's commenting, right? Because we are switching gears. and we're heading to TNT. Wonderful TNT race for some,
One
not
caution.
for others. Yeah, one caution. Randy unfortunately did not make it, but Randy, did you watch the broadcast?
I actually did not. I watched the last part of it. I did watch the very end of it because I had to watch the Guitar Addict Chevrolet win the race, so I had to watch that. So I had to see Tim taking home for the second win of the season. So
I gotta know though, did you catch any of Andrew Burgess as the special guest commentator?
No, I did not, but I'm sure that was probably pretty good.
Did you catch it, Josh?
I did.
How do you think he did?
I think he was quite good.
Thank you. I thought the exact same thing. Love it, man.
The only thing I have, and it's not a complaint, is he's obviously Canadian.
First off, that was one of the greatest things about this race, right? No offense, Josh. We'll get to that whole point here in a second. The fact that Tim St. Jean won, not only would a fellow Canadian to Andrew win, as Andrew is the special guest commentator, he also won with one of Andrew's wheels.
Yeah, he did. That's right. Andrew, I guess, was his good luck charm.
I absolutely loved it, man. It was friggin' awesome, man. I really hope that Andrew comes back and does some more with us because it was awesome to have him. He's such a great dude. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite people in the league.
Andrew, just remember, if I'm out on a gig, just hop in. If you see my post saying Psychoustic or whoever I'm with that week is off on a Thursday night, just pop in because I'm sure Larry would love to have you again.
Oh, dude, easily. I even asked him after the race. I was like, well, how do you feel, man? He was like, honestly, and I can't do his accent, but he was like, honestly, I was pretty nervous at the beginning, and I was like, why were you?
I was wondering about that.
That's why we drink.
I don't.
It goes out the window.
I don't during the race cast, but I was like, that's pretty funny. He's like, I loosened up there at the end, man. I was like, you did good, man. I was like, it was
you could definitely tell that it was his first time, and as the race went on, the flow became more natural. You guys kind of learned a little bit about what each other's rhythms were, and by the end, it was not just good. It was great.
I thought it was, man. It was fantastic. It was a blast. Had a lot of fun calling that with them. But let's talk about this race, shall we? So, as you said, Josh, one early caution, real quick, man. One of our commenters out there, Mr. Lose my damn mind.
Mr. Gordon.
Mr. Wright.
Ah.
Real quick off that,
we were talking.
That great flag, man. My man forgot about these cold tires and took a hard left towards the wall, scared the crap out of some drivers, man. And I'll tell you what, hey, David Wright, man, looked good in qualifying. And I was excited for him, man. That was going to be a great race for him if he didn't have that slide incident there.
He's been looking, especially in the past 2 to 3 weeks, he's been looking very strong, and it's been great to see and also kind of scary.
Well, by the time that clicks in, you should be gone. You shouldn't be in that league anymore.
We're talking. I honestly can see him challenging the top 5 about midway through the next season, if not earlier.
That's good. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think he qualified 6th or 7th.
Yeah, and like I said, that's Randy. That's why it's scary. I don't need more competition.
Oh, that's the problem. You just don't want anybody else to come knock you off your throne.
Hey, John Gordon. John Gordon just had
look at results.
He just had the perfect comment. He said Mario Kart. He literally looked like he had a banana peel, man. He just went. He was gone. I was like, well, there went that one, right? 8th. He qualified 8th. So Like I said, man, it's not even about the qualifying position, but the time. He wasn't far off of the top guys. Not much at all, man. It was really impressive. So we look to see you turn that around, man. But one caution, the entire race. Josh, what were the fuel runs like? I think Blake said somewhere around like 50 something.
Yeah, it was about 50. If you were in traffic, you could probably get about 55, which, in all honesty, that was a bit of a rarity this season with the ARCA cars, in that you actually had to pit for fuel.
Right.
Like, there was no way around it, and I love every time you guys talk about, well, they're going to stop for fuel, and I just laugh to myself on the inside thinking, we could run the entire race and then about another 50% most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And
like it all comes down to tires, and that's why I don't remember where it was. I think it was Iowa that it was no stop.
Right.
Because there was no caution, there was no reason to stop. And I'll be honest, today or yesterday, if I could have made it all the way to the end on fuel, I would have thought about not stopping.
Yeah. Well, and we see some different pit strategies. Randy, you know a lot about the undercut. You generally see guys, running, maybe second, third, try to undercut the leader, right? Especially when you got green flag runs. They didn't. Josh was actually the first one to pit out of the group. So
sometimes it works, though. I mean, sometimes you pit a little earlier, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, specifically last night, Tim was back about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I pitted at lap 35, I think it was, and he stayed out for another 2 to 3 laps.
Yeah.
And by the time we cycled through and everybody got their pit stops, he was 9 seconds behind.
Yeah, and that could be one of the things that me and Andrew was even talking about. Andrew being one of the more senior guys of the one of the senior guys of the league. I don't want to call him more senior because I know there's guys a lot more senior than him in the league. But one of the senior guys in the league, he even said, he was like, when it comes to Tim's always really good on those long hauls, right? We normally don't see him with these quick bursts of speed, but he's that guy that's going to be consistently with his lap times, his tire wear, and everything like that. He's going to catch you in the end. Like, it's generally going to happen, right?
Well,
usually. Yeah, I think so, usually. Josh?
And in the race chat, the thing was, he had Nick behind him, and Nick was keeping track of where he was behind me, and he was just like, Josh, he's catching you, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that, especially with Tim, probably going to happen when you're going 45 laps on a stint.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. And
you said oldest guy, maybe one of the oldest guys. I said more
senior. More senior.
Okay, more senior.
Then I changed that. I said senior, right?
I think Tim is a senior.
Well, no, I'm sure. I'm just talking about Andrew as far as in the league, racing with a lot of these guys, right? So Andrew was the one that pointed it out. So obviously knowing that Andrew and Tim race a lot around each other, they kind of know that feel around each other, right? So, every driver has that tendency. One guy may be real quick off the burst, but doesn't conserve as much tires near that end. Some drivers, they just are great on the long runs, like Tim. And that's what Andrew was saying, was like, he's probably wanting to use up as much of his tires as he can. Excuse me.
Oh, that was nice.
Bro, that was that's that.
Did you get anything on you there?
That's that triple ale, man. And
you should be checking out the baby's room to see if there's any spit up rags in there.
Purely a burp.
Behind him.
Purely a burp. Purely a burp.
Oh,
and a lot of Olive Garden right there, man. A lot of Olive Garden. Oh, you really ready? You ready for this, Randy? The seafood Alfredo too, man.
You ever see that? Well, Josh would know the movie, the 40-year-old version.
Oh.
She's like, oh, the shellfish.
Ed said, I bet that smells like shit. Nah, Ed, it smells like freaking. It smells literally like seafood and freaking fettuccine or Alfredo sauce.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
So he's accurate.
Oh.
That's
the
great. That's a
shellfish.
great combo, man. That's a great combo. But Tim even said I was thinking about having the fresher tires near the end, and that's also a theory, a thought process, right? Josh's tires run off. Tim's got the fresher tires. He starts making that up on the back end. So
Yeah, I left a part of that conversation out. What ended up happening was, as Nick was saying that, I was just like, when he hits 4 seconds, that's when I'll actually push.
Yeah, and dude, you were on rails last night. It was
Kinda, yeah.
That was impressive to say the least. How fast you were. Now, Randy,
And yet, finished 8th.
Randy, you was not there. So just to brush up on this, and this is, we're not going to delve too deep into this as we talked about. From your point of view, man, what happened there at the front that caused you to have a mandatory pit stop for damage?
So, I'll put it this way, and I'm going to preface this with, it's part of the reason why I do love the AOLL, is it is a very gentlemanly league, to where the person that we're about to explain...
Some draw
Anyway.
penises on the track after they win. Just kidding.
Happy accidents. Happy accidents.
That was a really happy accident, man. That was awesome. All right,
It
sorry,
was
go
very
ahead.
happy.
Sorry, go ahead. That was hilarious.
But he reached out to me immediately after the race, apologized for what happened. And it's a beginner series, and he's one of those beginners. And basically, I was just like, look, when we get these kind of situations, normally this is what happens, and that's all it is. So to give you what the driver's perspective of what happened is, I was coming up on lap traffic.
Yep.
And generally within the TNT, it's you call out over the radio, say, hey, could you take this line while I'm coming up to you? I had caught him going into 3 and was just like, you know what, I'm going to wait until the front stretch. It's a safer place to pass. Asked the guy to go high. Apparently he didn't hear me, and that does happen.
Now, tell everybody who that was.
No, I'm trying to be a gentleman.
He's trying to not name names.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to know.
You don't know from last night's conversation in the chat. See, you don't even read
I
the chat.
just kidding. No, I did read the chat. That's good. I'm just trying to bait. I'm throwing that little bait out there. I mean, the hook is trying to sink, but he's
he
like
ain't
an
going
eel.
to.
He's not taking it.
He ain't going to.
No. And essentially, as I was coming up, crossing the stripe, he was out in the outside lane, which is what I said, yeah, if you could stay high. I come down, and then literally all my brain is, as I'm moving down into the inside, oh shit, he cut me off, evasive action. And there I went into the wall.
And I mean, he went right. It was wild, man. That man said, and he was going into the wall. And it was crazy because, as you know, being the commentators, we actually was not on Josh at that point in time. And all we seen was Josh coming down into the pits again. And we were like, what just happened? And then we went back and looked. Then we seen the actual incident, and we were like, ah. Mind you, we've seen worse, especially in the TNT. For instance, I can't remember who it was, what driver. I can't remember who wrecked him, but it was the guy leading. He was leading the race, and the delapper come around. He was like, put him right into the wall. Was like,
Was that the? Was that back when?
last season, or what?
Yeah, Dylan Johnson
Last
was
year.
leading.
Yeah.
He was trying to go around. He was our big teddy bear. He was trying to go around him and got into him.
Was it? I don't know, but that. I mean, it's stuff that we see that happen. I mean, but you know.
And honestly, like, the only part that, like, I'm not mad about it. Like I said, he reached out immediately. It's
Yeah.
somebody that I have helped before, and
Yeah.
honestly, it's one of those things that you know what? It's a beginner's league, so you have to take all of it
with a grain of salt. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, he did exactly what I would hope everyone would do in that situation. Apologize, realize that, hey, I need to learn something. Ask the question so you can prevent it in the future. And the only thing that makes me sad is, unfortunately, Tim has more wins than me this season now.
I told you that was going to
Tim.
happen, though. I did tell you that.
I know.
I told you, once Tim figures this out, you guys are in trouble.
Well,
that's why I was like,
having him there. He's one of my favorite people to race around.
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
I had some good racing with him the other night running. I think it's a truck race, but I can't remember.
Let's be real though. Real quick.
Again, we go down to it. Had the result stayed where it was for the season, I would be in first place by 9 points and up 19 points on third.
And that's the hurtful
and
part.
now it's actually the exact inverse to where I'm in third. And we have Tim is on the verge of taking the win.
Yeah, if you give me 1 second, I'll pull those points up and actually tell you. I think it is. And again, I want to reiterate kind of what Josh was saying there. Not only, I mean, obviously, after watching that, Josh being a teammate, I knew that there was going to be some, drama llama. Somebody's not going to be happy. And, Josh, right away said, he was like, hey, man, like, guys, he reached right out right immediately and apologized, and I appreciate that. So, at that point he's heartbroken, right? And then not only after that, but then I know in the actual racing page, he even apologized on there. Now that says a lot about somebody, right? He did a private apology and then a public apology. Yeah. Now, when you think of guys that you can't even get an apology from, they just want to argue with you about an incident the entire time, that's huge. That's huge.
And that's part of the reason why I absolutely love the league is, again, and even ended up chatting with Blake a little bit last night after the race, and all I told him was, yeah, I may not win the season, but damn it, I want that turtle. That's
it. Hey, Randy, are you going to be in full-time next Thursday or next season?
What do you mean, in?
Like, are you going to be broadcasting full-time?
Unless
I decide to race in the TNT and switch divisions.
Nope, see, stop. I can still run in the TNT. I want to officially run the TNT. Crap.
I want to run TNT because I've never run in. That's the only league I haven't run in.
Crap.
So, there are some things that I've heard, some rumors that may happen.
What's that?
No, because I'm not an authorized source.
Oh, I already know what you're saying. I know what's going on in that little brain of yours. I can see right through your beady eyes, buddy. I have a feeling some drivers are about to be moved out of the TNT.
Well, I think some drivers do need to be out of the TNT.
I think they're about to get kicked, booted, bamboozled.
Carl, because his headset can't be...
Carl, man, Carl. So
Carl's
Carl...
not even here to defend himself.
Carl...
How could you do that?
Hold on.
He's just having he's having the same issue that a lot of people are having with VR and all of that fun stuff.
Though, God love Carl, right? Like, he started second, was putting a lot of pressure on Josh, and they just had this fall off. We're just like, what the hell just happened to Carl? And then later on in the race, probably about halfway through the race, out of nowhere, Carl just takes a left. It's just gone. Just left-hand turn. Gone. The hell just happened to Carl? And he's driving like a drunk man trying to stay on the track. We're like, what just happened to Carl? I think even somebody had made the comment that the man wheel fell off of his desk. And no, his VR headset died. VR died, and that was it.
Yeah, I saw the chat that Carl was like kind of upset about everything right now in all the leagues. So
Well, he's just had a very bad run of luck.
Not
And
as bad
last
as
night-
me.
And last night was one of those because we put in a lot of time and spent. We actually practiced outside of the AOLL because we now have our own resident alien of Josh Hanner and Chris Piscini actually to teach us some things. So we actually had them join us for a practice to teach us things. And both looked really strong going into practice, and even had, if you watch the race, we had a completely different line from everyone else, and it was the right line.
So wait, tea time. So there's the resident admin, and he threw another admin of the league, and he threw a big shiner out there. And if that's the case, it looks like we're going to have a new host on Thursday nights, and I will be going to TNT.
Did I miss it?
What the heck's good with that?
What do you mean, what's going on with that?
I mean, are you going to go? You're going to drop. You're dropping. You're going to go racing.
Nah, I've actually been told I'm authorized to run Cup and TNT.
Because
So
he's a
am I.
recent graduate.
No, not because I was a recent graduate, but because I was a provisionary. I don't even know how to say that word. Move to Cup.
Okay.
So it was like, hey, he's good enough, but we need to see some more. So we'll move him, but if he screws up, we're kicking him back down.
I also would think that if you didn't race, you aren't showing them enough, so they'd move you back down to TNT.
I was going to say, see, I should be moved down because I can't even run it. I run in Cup and I suck so bad. I need to be running. I probably need to be in not even TNT. I probably need to be in the
It's the hair dye, man.
Monday night Myrtles. You know, the
Monday Night Myrtle. Hey, can we
everybody-
get a league like that? That'd be great.
Monday Night Myrtles. That's all the guys over 50. Great.
Joe said, no idea what Larry is talking about. Maybe Blake Gordon can clear up what the hell you're talking about. Joe, that was actually told to me by Johnny Downey, what I just said. So just throwing that out there. It wasn't even Blake that said that. He had actually told me, he was like, yeah, you can still run TNT if you want. And I was like, get out of here. He was like, yeah. I was like, well, what the hell? I was like, I don't have access to that. He goes, well, you need to talk to Blake about getting access to the league then. And I was like, son of a bitch.
So
I
if you
want
drop out of,
to run in TNT so I can prove to him that I can beat him under any circumstances. Because he seems to forget that the only full season that I ran in the TNT last year, I was like 4 places in front of him in the standings.
Hey, Larry's not drunk yet. I'm only about a beer and a half in.
Larry, you're okay. So what we're gonna do? Well, I think what we're gonna do. You're gonna drop out of. You're gonna be calling Wednesday night still.
This is just hearsay right now. We'll
Okay,
see what
so
actually
if-
happens.
I'm just
We'll see
saying-
what actually happens. If what I think happens, I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it offline.
I'll switch to Wednesday night and I'll race with you on Tuesday night too.
Well, I had already planned on dropping Sunday night to run Wednesday night once these guys graduate up to Sunday nights.
And then I'll move to Sunday night.
You see what I'm saying? So, because
I can switch myself around.
obviously we try.
Let's put it this way. Larry's admitting he wasn't ready to move up to Cup.
No, I'll say one thing. I do
old
enjoy
for
Cup. No, I enjoy Cup. Like, don't get me wrong. The big thing
He's just terrible.
yeah. Right now, the reason why you don't really see me racing is because it's just there's so much going on with this, right? Like, how many nights can I really take away from the family? So I've kind of dropped racing so that way I can do this. I couldn't
It's
tell you.
pretty
like,
bad
so
when the
much my
kids
last
have to
time I
come in during the podcast just to see their dad.
Yeah, right. Like sitting in the back, just hanging out. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we're gonna talk about this.
Let's move along and let's talk trucks.
I don't want to talk trucks.
I'm gonna go take a quick break because I'm 4 deep and gotta pee.
They're not as high alcohol content as mine. So, and before we actually get to trucks, because I like that you swapped it up there. Before we get there, the new point standings has Sean Carmody. He's leading 394. Tim St. Jean with that win That bumped him up to 392, and he's sitting in second. So he is only 2 points out from your leader. And then Josh, unfortunately, with those very, very sad issues, he drops to 375. That pushes him back to third. Carl still holding strong there in fourth, but Cody Leland right on his tail in fifth at 325. So,
all right, we did get the request for picks, and I'm fine with that. But I'm gonna go last.
You're gonna go last.
Okay.
All right, let's swap here. I'll go first.
Reverse.
All right. So where are we racing? Where are they racing this week? I can't even
USA
remember.
International.
USA International.
Tim St. Jean.
Leland. He likes those short tracks, man. He's really good at using that low line to pull him around those corners. So.
All right.
Good pick.
So, bear with me.
All right.
Cody Leland is going to take out Tim St. Jean 3 times. So both of them finish in 14th and 13th. Then John is going to take out Tim 3 times. So they are 12th and 11th. So I can win.
So wait, what about Carmody? You need Carmody to wreck at
Carmody's
some point.
going to
There.
drop out. He's the one you got to worry about. He's going to win the whole thing.
Well, not if Tim's got something to say about this.
No, I'm just saying if Tim's already taken out, because he already said Tim's going to be taken out, but he didn't say anything about
Carmody. Nothing about
I'm
Carmody.
drunk, I meant to say Sean.
So what you're saying? There's going to be some Endeavor on Endeavor crime come this Thursday.
No, in all honesty, my true honest to goodness pick, it's going to be Carl. I've raced with him so many times at USA. I know he's great at this track, and he's motivated.
If his headset don't die.
Tim just sent me a
his mirror
text.
don't side.
I've already run 1,014 laps this week just for that race.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay, I want to actually see that text. That's not showing me nothing, Randy.
Hey, look.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get it in there. I can't get it to focus, but that's it.
Yeah, moving around doesn't help it focus, buddy.
Look.
I can't with this guy.
And I actually do have an honest to goodness thing, and it does actually go along with something in the comments right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that this is going to be the highest finish by Dave Wright this week.
I just seen that comment, and first off, I want to say I love the attitude. I love the fire that this dude's got, and I love the growth that he's showing. So, man, I really hope it is. Dude, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. I hope it is.
What about... Is Scarello going to be back? I know he's Scarello is in the chat with us.
So they are talking that Cirillo and a lot of these guys that we've seen very sparingly this season will be back full time for season 3. So we look forward to that. Obviously, no break after this week for the TNT. They are going straight into season 3. And once they hit season 3, man, it's going to be on because you guys will be running 20 races, 5 drops. There's going to be no more provisionals. It's, hey, if you screw up 5 races, man, you can drop those points. But that's it. I love it. This is the first time the AOLL's done it, and I hope that we this works out because I love that format. Sounds great.
I may actually miss a race now because... Yeah, there's been a few Thursdays I probably shouldn't have run.
Hey, you're going to be in Cup anyway, so you ain't even going to be running Thursdays.
Yeah, exactly. Not after this season, but
right.
Next season. Nah.
All right, we're going to take a quick short break, man. We're going to come back. We're going to start talking trucks and Cup. So let's take a word from our sponsor.
The AOLL Racing League began racing in the early 90s with Papyrus's NASCAR Racing and has grown over the decades, now racing on the iRacing platform. The AOLL has 3 divisions: the TNT Series Developmental Division for our beginners and those getting back into racing, the Cup Series for our veterans and Class A licensed drivers, the Sportsman Division racing the Gander outdoor trucks with drivers from the TNT and Cup Series, You can catch all of the AOLL action here on Ghostfire Media.
All right, and we're back. And if you can't tell by the screen right now, I'm the only one here. Everybody else had to pee. They got baby bladders. So we're going to make that switch over to the truck series. And, with the truck series, Blake Gordon, your winner this week, followed by Joe Dinsmore. We had Justin Anderson in third, Greg Willen in fourth, and Sean Carmody in fifth. Andrew Burgess ran in sixth. Seventh, Gary Winters, and eighth, Blake Ziti, and then Brandon Bernhardt in ninth, and Brian McFerrin in 10th. And I'd keep going down this. Like, I wanted to say Tim St. Jean in 11th, but at that point I was running down the whole field. So we're just gonna. I made that mention, but haha. It was a wild race. Unfortunately, that a lot of CCR didn't make it. Passini didn't make it. You wasn't even there, right, Josh? I don't think you made it.
No, I've been prepping to leave for vacation on Sunday, so unfortunately everybody has to hear Carl alone all night on Sunday, which, he'll actually be fine.
Yeah,
but,
he'll be all right. I actually might join Carl, because like I said, I don't know if this laptop will actually run iRacing, so I may just jump in with him and just call the race with him. He ain't got to be by himself. I don't know. We'll talk. But, as we stated, man, Blake got that win. Yeah, I want to say, is that his second one in a row in the truck series? Am I thinking that correctly? I don't. Why did I go to TNT? What a dummy. Sportsman. It is. It's his second win in a race. He took the win at the Twin Ring of Motegi Oval. So that is his second win in a row, and. It was a heck of a race for him, right? Like, that was a solid race that you actually, if you sit back and watch it, a lot of good racing.
No, it was easily one of my favorite that I got to watch and didn't have to sit and cringe at my own actions during it.
Right. It was, they ran a very solid race, the truck guys, and...
Not everybody did.
Yeah, I did see Randy Pepper left quite early.
I left her. Well, one of the things. Okay, so I have to explain the reason I was on my roof. I was trying to do John Gordon, but
64 laps down, huh, buddy?
Okay, so what happened with me is there was something going on. You guys couldn't see this, but
John Gordon said I wasn't there. He was 39 laps down.
But these guys were getting booted out of the race itself. I was like, why are these guys just dropping off? So I'm reading this on the top of the screen, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, as I'm reading this, all of a sudden, Kevin Haas comes up, like, barreling behind me, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I just jumped it to the left, and into the inside wall I went, and over I went. I was like, so after that, I came back, and then Tim got into me, and... that was it. I had already used all my fast repairs, and I was out of it. So I said, "Nah."
Little guitar addict crime, huh?
Yeah, but he doesn't run the Guitar Addict. He runs Mountain Dew in the truck. So we don't sponsor him in the trucks. He's the only sponsored in the TNT.
Real quick, I just want to point out that this beer, I don't know if you can see that, apparently won the bronze award in the World Cup of Beer. That's a thing.
You know what? Your beer looks a lot like my phone. You can't see what it says.
World Beer Cup.
We can't read it. We can't read it when it's 3 inches from the camera. You got to move back, buddy. Keep going. Keep going.
Keep going. Getting better.
Oh, it's almost there.
Almost.
We can make out your little visitor better than we can.
Yeah, what did Randy say? I spend so much time away from my kids, they have to sneak in here with Dad when he's in here when he's here doing the podcast.
This is quality daddy and daughter time right now. You just sit back there in the chair, and I'm talking on here. You don't worry about it. I'm baby daddy. Don't worry. I'm the baby daddy.
Yo, I want to point out that it says... Justin Anderson said, Larry, the beer only took third because other beers took a provisional. I was honestly, all I got was Larry the beer only took third. I was waiting for, that's Larry's beer right there. That's a third place freaking beer.
I'm glad I did not make that connection.
Yeah, I want to point out that I try to be good on this podcast, right?
You know, we need to get Justin back on here, man.
We do.
It's a lot of fun.
We do. I want to point out that I try to be good on the podcast real quick, with my drinking. Tim's over here says bottle's not empty, but I get egged on to drink around here. But anyway,
One's not empty. Both of them are empty.
Because we enjoy Larry O'Patrick.
Aye, good day, Mike. But anyways, hey, so it was a good race. It was a solid race. Man. It was a lot of fun out there. The truck series has been, we talk about it all the time. It's been constantly offering some of the best racing. Personally, I think that the TNT has been the best series by far. Oh, there it is. But
oh my God, you gotta stop doing that on the air. You're killing me, man. Every time you do that, I just want to throw up.
You should smell it.
And those are so bad.
But anyways,
I can smell the shellfish.
You can smell the shellfish, and you also get to hear even more clarity in it with this new microphone.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, I don't know what's worse. Him doing that on the mic or seeing your thing pop up and doing this little squirrely thing.
The cat's tail. Like you said, I think the TNT has been offering the best racing. Whether it be just, one caution-free races and really some exciting races, as opposed to the truck series or the Cup series. But the truck series, man, watching that merger between the Cup and the TNT has just been phenomenal all season long. And it goes to show here, right? I mean, Carmody getting 5th. I think Gary Winter's a TNT driver. He took 7th. Blake Pasta, man, taking 8th. And so the TNT guys are really showing a little bit of what y'all got, right? Like,
and that's the point of it, is so everybody gets used to running together, and so it's not complete culture shock once we do hit Cup. And I do want to point out that you may say the best racing, the tail end of every Cup race for the past few weeks has been some of the closest, the most nail-biting, and honestly, it's been fantastic. This week we got to watch Steve Gottschalk and Blake go at it for a little while. Unfortunately, at that point, Hanner had kind of checked out a little bit, but still, the battle for second was long, drawn out, and hard fought.
Well, and that's one thing I was about to say, that kind of like you said, I'm talking about as a whole through this year, right? 2021.
And so the whole thing too. I was going to say, from top to bottom in the field, the truck field is probably the most competitive of all of them. The Cup division, you have a select 7, maybe 6, 7 guys that are going to run really close to each other, and then in the back you'll have sporadic whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I also agree with what Josh said. We see with Cup right now, yeah, even when Hanner was checking out at that last race, that the fight for second, third, fourth, fifth was just huge, right? Like, that was up until Hanner actually got away from those guys. I honestly thought that we were about to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like at least 6 guys battling for the lead. Like, just
which we saw 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. So
and it was a tight battle for the last 5 laps, and you didn't know who was going to be 1, 2, or 3.
Almost like a restrictor plate race, right? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty freaking wild.
But in all honesty, if we're talking trucks right now, it's it really is. We're starting to see, and unfortunately, Wednesdays is the night that I have a tendency to drop off, so I don't get to really count myself in this. But you're really starting to see the next generation that's about to come up from TNT, to where you have Sean, you've got Blake. Or if you go back 2 weeks,
bless you,
Sean and Blake were 6 and 7.
Right.
If we go back a week prior to that, barring the interesting things that happened, you had me and Sean running in the top 6 until things took a turn.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really starting to go that way. And then you've got guys like David he shows up every week.
Right.
And if nothing, he's getting to run a more powerful car, which is in turn helping him when he comes back to TNT, because...
Clarify the David, man. You gotta remember we got multiple.
Paris.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
Paris.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll pull up, guys. Wasn't that David? Randy?
All right. I will agree with
David
him.
Wright.
We
Wright.
need...
No, Randy. That was David DeParis, right? That the wheel fell off?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to start from that one.
Sorry, I didn't
And-
bring it up. That shit was funny.
And until he comes back, we need to make fun of Dan for the back of his chair falling off in the fun race and spilling his
So, did I tell you guys that I talked to Dan the other day?
No.
So I had to message him. I was like, "Where the heck is Big Redman, man?" Like, so I messaged him, and to be exact, Dan said, "Let me pull it up. Give me 2 seconds." He had said that he normally apparently takes the summer off of racing because this is his time to go golfing and ride his motorcycle. So
I can give him that one.
This is apparently why we have not been seeing Big Red on the track. If Big Red ever does listen to this, man, we miss you. Obviously, I would hope you would realize that when I message you randomly, and we hope you come back here soon, huh?
I miss him more because I miss getting to see the Big Red Guitar Addict truck and car out, up towards the front. So I'm missing my sponsorship.
Well, I think it's hilarious that it's literally the smallest freaking logo you can possibly put on a vehicle.
It's still there.
It's still there. It's also full on the hood.
Oh, is it full on the hood now? I hadn't noticed that.
The whole hood is still Guitar Addict.
So yeah, he said that don't do a lot of racing this summer because of golf, riding the Harley, and local racing. He said, unfortunately though, he did tell me that he fell last week and broke his arm. So
yeah, I heard about that.
He said I was going to try to race, but it's hard to drive and shift with one arm. So hopefully he gets well here soon.
Yeah, that does not sound like a pleasant combination at all.
No.
Shouldn't be, that's what happens when you swing that club against a tree.
Yeah, that could happen. Let's talk a little. So let's do it. I mean, we didn't have honestly a whole lot to talk about with trucks. Let's get some picks for trucks. I guess I can start this time. Go, Josh.
Were they racing this week?
Me, Josh.
This is Talladega.
It is.
It's the great equalizer.
Well, and here it is. I can't pick Adam because he's not racing, right? Can't pick him. He's not racing. So I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna go out of left field, and I am going to go with Jason Swan because this is the first comment I have seen from Jason Swan in the podcast. And thank you for joining us tonight, Jason. And we hope you love it and everything like that. He did say a great job on the podcast. Thanks for all that you guys do for the league, man. So I'm going to say Jason Swan, man's first comment I've seen from the man. So I'm going Jason. I can't go Adam because Adam's not here. So go, Josh.
All right. I get in trouble for this one. I'm going to go with Chris Piscini.
That's a good beer.
Okay. That was unfortunately timed where I think I couldn't decide if you were actually talking about the beer or if you were talking about you accidentally were saying beer when you meant pick.
No, I need to try the second place beer. I need to see if it's truly better than the third place.
Anyway,
Chris is a good driver, but this beer is even better.
No, I tell you what, man. I love Chris Bassini, man. He's a super nice guy, man.
The only reason I say that is I know him and Hanner are right now running in a super speedway only league together.
Yeah.
So those two are going to work together, and then it's just going to be a fight for who actually gets to win.
I want to point out one thing. Where is the VRS? Okay, anyways, go ahead, Randy.
Boy, it's a crapshoot. It's one of these races, just a crapshoot. And it's just, I'm actually going to go with this would be kind of a weird pick. At least y'all would think it will be Johnny Downey.
Why would I think that's
hopefully he's racing. Hopefully, I mean, if he's racing, yeah.
If he's racing, yeah, I'm gonna pick it. If Johnny is not racing, Adam Wood. Oh wait, Adam Wood's not gonna be there either.
You can't even pick me because
no. I don't know if Johnny's racing or not, or going to be racing or not.
If racing, I'm picking Johnny. Yeah. If Johnny is not racing, I'm going to go with Justin Edwards.
Justin Edwards.
Yeah.
I know some of you guys. What? I raced with him the other night. He was really strong. So.
Oh, I'm not by any means. Am I not going to dog a pick, man? That's. Unless you pick Randy Pepper, I might dog that one. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't pick myself for a reason. I'm most likely to be on my roof.
That's
the only.
Ed said Johnny's out this week. Johnny is out this week according to Ed Springer.
All right, so Justin Edwards is my pick.
I want to point one thing. I want to say one thing real quick. Ed, you're out there. You're listening. Two-time guest, if I'm thinking correctly, on this podcast. Love having you on. Great individual, great person to talk to. I will never pick you in any of these because you are a Clemson fan and you continue to have Clemson as your profile picture. The day you change that, I may pick you.
Do you realize he also has a little the South Carolina thing on the Palmetto Racing
on track, and he had a freaking Clemson car at one point.
I remember that.
Tracking all. I'm an Ohio State fan. If it's never, if you ever have a question, I ain't saying you got to put on your car, Ed. Just no Clemson. Just take Clemson off for 1 week, and I'll pick you. So with that being said, we're gonna strike that, reverse that. We're gonna hit to Cup. We are hitting the Cup at 9:27ish. We are, like I said, early. Because we are going to talk about the new league, and they should be here around 9:30, 9:40, so I want to make sure we allocate them proper time. So we're going to talk Cup now. And this man just said, suck, guys. I'll never pick him now. Ed, you kill me, man. Absolutely killing me. All right, so the Cup Series. By the way, Ed, we squashed you guys in the last time we played you guys. So Texas.
Good thing Hot Carl's not here.
Texas Motor Speedway. Hey, this was a blast of a race. I did actually catch a lot of this. I sat down and watched a lot of this while I was just hanging out on the couch. And Hanner, man, I picked him. He always says he listens to this because he wants to hear Sausage Larry's pick because I always pick him. And he hasn't let me down, right? Like when I took Hanner, I said I look at the stats from the last few races. This dude has been amazing at like 1.5 mile tracks, right? And he showed it again.
That's why I take the time to learn from him.
No, absolutely. Well, I don't get VRS from him either. So, anyways, I'm just digress.
Yeah, that's Carl. That's Carl. That's not him.
Well, so he has been just on rails, man. One of the new guys that came into the league ran in the trucks for a couple weeks, and then they bumped him up to Cup. I mean, obviously with his I rating and everything like that, safety rating, they weren't going to let him become TNT. That was not a discussion. Put him in trucks, show us what you got in trucks, and then we'll bring you up to Cup. They made the right decision, I believe, after 4 weeks, Josh? Was it 4 weeks?
A few more.
Few more?
Wasn't much.
He was part of the reason why we now have the rule of it actually being 4.
Okay. And
But no, he came in, and honestly, when he first joined, I actually spotted for him for a few officials, and holy mother, I was watching him dominate 5,000 IR official races. And I just sat there and was just like, oh, you're coming into the pits and you only want outside tires? Okay, I'll check the button for you. There was nothing I could do other than tell him if he was actually clear of someone. And, yeah.
Yeah. So he's been on rails since he's been in this league. Again, I'm just going to point this out. This is another reason why I took him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 wins in the last 7 weeks. Those tracks being Talladega, Kansas, Darlington, Charlotte, Texas. My question is, and this is to Randy because you're old, at what point do we start looking at, could this be the next alien? Could he supersede? You know, Blake was from Mars. Is this dude from freaking Pluto? Like, is he from Pluto?
You're reading my mind, Larry. We're on the same telepathic communication
That's
right now.
scary.
Because I was thinking the same exact thing.
I will give you one easy answer on that. Look at the results from Circuit of the Americas.
Coda. Justin Anderson.
That also happened to be a week that Blake was out, and I think that that's honestly going to be the biggest way for us to make that differentiation. Is Blake is fast anywhere you put him. Hanner's fast on an oval.
Okay, but answer me this. First off, I'm looking right now. He finished 8th at Coda. All right, I would agree with you that Blake is fast anywhere we go. But do you give somebody that... would you call... All right, would you... I'm going to put this in football perspective real quick. Would you say that Tom Brady is better than Peyton Manning? Tom Brady being Blake Gordon, Peyton Manning being Hanner. By the way, I like Peyton Manning more. That's the reason why that's Hanner. Not that I don't like Blake, but you know, get what I'm saying.
Teammates, I guess.
Right. So would you seriously sit there and say that if he's a better person, if he's got more total wins, but would you say this dude wins at these, he just finishes better at every course? Does that make sense? So you got this guy that's dominant. If Hanner comes out and wins every race, but he comes out and he runs Coda and he runs freaking Watkins Glen and stuff like that, but he's finishing in top 10, as where Blake is winning them, or he's finishing top 3, would you really still say Blake's better? He's better at road courses. I give you that, but I wouldn't say that he's better because if Hanner's winning every freaking oval track.
But I'm going to throw out that the alien doesn't necessarily mean the fastest on ovals. This league is set up to where if we were talking it was 50-50 oval and road,
Then
the overall points
Blake
would be no
probably win.
contest.
Yeah, Blake would probably
But
win.
that's what I'm saying. So when you look at it as a whole, NASCAR's not in this series is not a road course heavy series. We can't sit there and
Wait
say
until
that.
next year.
Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you
next
right
year.
now. I'm looking at it. Don't think that I'm ignoring you guys in the comments. I'm reading every comment that's coming through. There's some people that's got something to say about this. Dinsmore, he's not going to freaking let his name drop, and I know Justin Anderson's not either.
And I wasn't. That was the biggest thing, that if we honestly look around the league and you want to say that we give Hanner that alien title, there's a few other people that we would need to throw into that exact conversation. You've got somebody like Dan Shirley, who's absolutely rocking it on just about every track. We've had a resurgence in Joe Dinsmore since he's gotten his brake pedal fixed. We have Justin Anderson that before Hanner joined you couldn't mention Blake without also throwing Justin into the same conversation.
So Joe just said, I can't wait to see what happens to the speed when they can't practice. And then Justin said, just to be clear, I'm not trying to diss Hanner in any way. First off, I don't want anybody to think out there that we're making it sound like anybody's dissing anybody. What I'm saying is that, first off, Justin Anderson is not going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, these guys are the greatest. Like, hey man, I got something to say about this. You know what I mean? Like, Justin Anderson in his own right is phenomenal. And Joe Dinsmore, and the same thing with Joe. I don't want anybody to think that they're being disrespectful, but to what Joe says, huh?
I picked Joe a lot for a lot of races.
Well, so check this out. Justin's drives with the paper plate and straight. That's funny. So
not the latter of those. I know he got those upgraded.
So he just said, I can't wait to see what happens to the speed when they can't practice. That's what Joe said. Here's my thing with that. All right, so speed.
Is that going to happen?
Practice, apparently, I don't know. I mean, that's one of your admins, man. I mean, maybe there's a little nugget there. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, can you not practice? Think about that. Can I sit there and say that you can't practice? You can't get on your game. You can't get out there, learn tracks, anything like that. You cannot learn them with a setup. But how many custom setups do we get? Who's testing these setups? So answer me this. If we are now going to go to a series of no longer being able to practice, you're going to come out, you're going to qual, and then you're going to race. Or even that you're only going to get an hour of practice before qual, then race. So it kind of, levels it all out. Who's testing these setups to say these are good setups for that track, and is that giving them an unfair advantage towards the races?
No, I'm going to say no. It doesn't give them an advantage because we saw that with Johnny Downey a couple weeks ago when he came to the race and he goes, "I made this setup and I don't even know how to drive it." So I don't think
that was
so.
Motegi, and first off, I still think that setup was amazing. But no, and that's the big thing is Hanner's winning a lot of races right now. He's got a lot to prove because he's got a lot of points to make up to make it into the chase, and he's only got 8 more weeks
guy right here,
if he wants to make the chase. And he came in halfway through that.
Right.
It's above
America. He's just trying to make that point.
Crazy,
and that's really all it comes down to.
If he doesn't make the chase, I'll be surprised.
I've run the numbers, and it's gonna be tight.
And Ed was just clarifying, that's not what he's talking about. There's no plans to cut off practice, so don't worry about that. I appreciate that clarification, Ed. Joe's talking about the guys that have a ton of time to practice on the tracks, and that's fair enough. But I mean, obviously, we can't restrict that to people like Josh alleviated to earlier. These dudes are running right now. Piscini and Hanner's out racing right now. There's guys that run.
But they're running a league that is
right
super speedways only. To where is that going to benefit them in the trucks this week? Probably.
What I want to know is, because I'm going to tell you right now, every time I've popped in practice, you know who I haven't seen in practice? Hanner.
Because he's a busy man.
Exactly. So when is he practicing to get this speed? Like, this man.
So if you actually want to go back to this race, and I'm going to divulge not information, but Chris Piscini ended up joining late.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually couldn't get in to run. So he actually just ended up essentially being the crew chief for Hanner. On the first stint, he was slow.
Sorry. When he sit, I believe Hanner said that he wasn't feeling well. He was going to race, but he wasn't feeling well. Is that a correct statement?
May have been what it was. I don't remember.
That's what I'm tracking. That's what was in the race or the team chat. And I know what you're about to say now.
Yeah. But
I know what you're about to say now.
But essentially what it was, and this is something, and I'm actually going to loop this back to TNT for a second. From having him in watching, being crew chief, spotter, he noticed something that could improve Hanner's laps that he was doing on entry to turns.
Yep.
Suggested it. Hanner tried it. And that's when he ended up pulling away. And we go back to the TNT race this past week. That was why we were strong, is because we took the time, and actually, leading into the chatting with the fuel guys, Carl, Nick, and I actually ran a league race with them at Atlanta in the ARCA cars. And those guys taught us a line that we did not think, because you would think that at Atlanta, it's you get yourself down to that white line, get a strong straight line off of every turn. No, it's you come down to the seam.
Yeah.
You don't come all the way down. Carl was running up against the wall, which is what those guys were running. But it really just comes down to having the support group around you.
Well, Blake said sorry, go ahead, finish. Sorry, I apologize.
You can go ahead and say, because you were going to say what I was going to.
Yeah, and to caveat off exactly what you just said, Blake had literally told me, you, and Nick after last night's race that he had told his team that CCR was about to have the advantage, because he was like, you guys can't run this low line. That's not going to be the line. And sure enough, these guys come in, and the reason why they didn't, and I'm tracking this, again, I'm part of their team. I may not show it all the time, but I'm there. I read all the chats. They had said that we're going to do a solo practice because there's a line that we don't think anybody's going to see, and we want to make sure that when we jump in, it's not divulged to everybody. So they came running that higher line. It wasn't the highest line. It was slightly, well, yeah, Carl. It was just slightly above that little mark there in the corner, right? That crease. And that's what they came in doing. And Blake was like, I try to tell you that this is that line that you think's the line. It's not the line. And it was
the only
wild.
reason I took it is we ran Atlanta in the trucks. And it was one of my best finishes. And I specifically remember Blake ended up behind me for a little while, and then all of a sudden, Blake, and it wasn't me forcing him up, here's Blake just blowing past me on the outside, and I'm just like, all right, maybe there's something to this. And towards the tail end of the run, I kind of figured out what they were doing, moved myself up, and suddenly I was faster, my tires weren't as warm, and I did the same thing.
I was running, I think 14th or 15th. I just kind of got bored and left.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why. I'm riding along and I'm like, okay, no, you're gonna lap me soon. So
I want to go ahead. First off, as Joe just said, good race at Texas this past weekend. Completely agree, Joe. It was awesome racing, man. I enjoyed watching it from the outside looking in. We're going into Talladega this week. Ultimate Equalizer, we don't...
No.
Oh, excuse me. That's trucks. Sorry. We're going into, Nashville Super Speedway. I stayed on the trucks for the Dan Lisa because I wanted to answer a question in the comments that I got from Derek Schilling. Derek Schilling did ask, hey, can I make the points chase still in the Sportsman Series? Derek, you currently are sitting at 104 points, and you have to make, I believe it is the top 18 from what I'm looking at in the series, and 18th is at 481. So you've got quite a fight. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
got
7,
quite a few weeks.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. About 13 before that starts. So, is it possible? Yes. It's going to be a fight, though, man. So
here's the simple thing, though, is it's not like with the chase with this league, it means, okay, I'm not racing anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just avoid the guys with a C next to their name.
Yeah.
So you can still run.
Yeah, just stay away from me. You'll be fine.
Absolutely. I guarantee you this Larry Patrick guy that's sitting at 205 points and in 40th, you're going to pass him. So you at least got one spot coming to you, buddy.
I was going to say, I'm probably only going to end up running about half of what's left due to work schedules, so I'm in 15th. I'm going to be an easy one to pass too.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I won't be to half of those either, so don't worry.
So we're hitting Nashville Super Speedway. So a track nobody really knows. I'm sure that there's some that may have practiced, some that may have not. Joe Densmore put in the comments, I haven't even downloaded the track yet. So, and practice was Thursday night. So that tells you how much people are practicing.
And Tuesday.
You're going to like the track.
And Tuesday.
I think this is going to be one that Joe is going to excel at.
Yeah, I was. This is one track. I once I ran it, I said I kind of want to run this track, but unfortunately, my daughter is moving, and I actually have a gig that night. So
John Gordon said it's a left turn. Hey, so let's go ahead. I want to grab picks on this, just in the sake of keeping stuff random. I'm going to start again, but this time we're going to go to Randy, and then we're going to hit Josh. So for my pick on this one, I'm going to disappoint my teammate because I have taken him the last few weeks, and he has won. But being this is a random track, and there's not much known about it, I've got to go a little different. So Justin Anderson, man, have a day. I'm taking you, buddy.
You stole my pick. I was going to go with Justin.
You can still take it.
I'll take Justin. So, but you and me are both going with Justin Anderson. I'm thinking Justin Anderson's going to win this week.
I like Justin Anderson at this track. Look, and he even said, hold on real quick. He even said it's a fun track to drive. See that's that crap.
Yep. That's what I said. I like the track myself. I thought it was fun to drive. So yeah.
Have a day, buddy. Have a day.
I'm gonna go with exactly what we were discussing at the very beginning. We've seen an emergence of Joe Densmore. This is a track that I think is going to suit his driving style. I'm gonna go with Joe.
Good pick.
All right, well, Joe Densmore.
Even not owning the track at this point.
Hey, Massey did that the other night in the IVRL.
This one?
Yeah, the blue one.
All right.
So let's go ahead and make a quick jump since Larry's more interested in beer than transitions.
I gotta figure out which one I want. I mean, you guys are still talking, so yeah, we're gonna make that jump. We're heading over to. You know what?
I was gonna throw it out because
Josh,
I'm the one that actually runs with these.
Well, I was about to say here real quick before you keep talking. Let me shut up, Josh. I want you to give my guy the introduction. I'll pull him in, but give my guy the introduction. Josh runs this league and knows way more about this league, so.
Know nothing about it, so it's all you guys.
Well, no, I still want you involved because there's questions, right? So this is a new league for anybody out there. This is a new league that we will be calling, I believe, mid-July, called Fuel. We are super excited about it. We've got to meet these guys. We got to talk to the admins, and they are great. We see some of the work they're already doing, but as like I alleviated before, Josh, I'm going to let you explain more about this league, and I want you to give this man a good introduction. So, Josh, go right ahead.
So our next guest is actually Will Roberts. He is one of the admins for the Fuel Racing League. They reached out to us, and honestly, this is an amazing league to run with. They make me feel real slow. And I mean real slow. Granted, the last two races that I've run, I've ended up in 10th, which I have no idea how. But, no, this league, for everybody that listens, it's kind of right between where the AOLL and the IVRL is, to where it's really competitive, but at the same time, there's a lot of focus on respect. There's... You don't want to get too many people a little angry, but no, it's been a delight to run with them for the past few weeks, and so since we got him here with the camera, which is
hey, looky there.
Howdy.
We'll go ahead and give us a little bit about yourself.
Well, howdy. I'm Will Roberts. I'm the owner at Fuel. It's a little pet project I started now a little over 3 years ago. I've been on iRacing now for coming up on, it'll be 10 years in October. Sim racing for a few years longer than that. I started on 2K2 and R Factor and all that. Yeah, and Fuel. So Fuel, it is ultra competitive. I feel slow as well. Have for 3 years now. We run the Xfinity car Monday nights. We've been running Tuesdays up to this point, but for various reasons, one of them I'm starting a new job, which I just got home for. Sorry for being late.
Nah, man, you're good.
We run long anyway.
Yeah, so,
Every night.
But yeah, so we run Mondays, 9 o'clock, green flag. Xfinity car, I think I already said that. And we run anywhere, real tracks. I can't really say fake track because they're all kind of real in some sense, but yeah, we'll run them just about anywhere. Ultra competitive. Our strength of fields are pretty much always north of 2,500. Yeah, so that's my intro.
Yeah, and it's been honestly, it's been a great contrast to what I run with the AOLL. It's, yeah, you were saying the strength of field is unbelievably high, but at the same time, for the most part, it's very much a give and take to where people will recognize, okay, I'm a little bit slower. I'm not going to give it to you easy, but once you do have that nose below me, I'm going to back off a little.
So that's something that we've always tried. We've always strived to have. So y'all are aware we're doing an entry fee for the first time this season. Up to this point, what I've always told people on why that this has previously up to this point been a free league is I tell them your entry fee is the way you race.
Yeah.
And I've always prided myself and the whole league on being clean and just racing like you should race. Like how I feel you should race.
Yeah, and I just want to say something to that, man. Like you said, the entry fee, right? I mean, if there's money invested, yeah, two types of people. You get one guy that's just going to go balls to the wall because he wants to win, because he wants to win his money back plus something, right? Or you have people that's going to be a little bit more protective because what are we always normally? Protective of our money. Now, I will say one thing. Being one of the CCR teammates, I catch these guys coming into the team chat after a Monday night race, and first off, they have nothing but great things to say about this league. Amazing. It's phenomenal to what they have to say. And these dudes are fast. I can honestly say when it comes to Josh, when it comes to even Carl, I'll give Carl his due for, I guess. Sorry, Carl's not here to defend himself. But they're good drivers, and they're coming out here and they're not even able to, they're barely cracking the top 10. It speaks something for the level of drivers that you guys have in this league, and also being one of the guys that gets to, be blessed into your guys' Discord chat. You guys take no BS, man, especially when it comes to disrespect, and I love that.
It's at a better point now than I think it's ever been, but it's always been something that we've tried to pride ourselves on is be respectful to your competitors. There's fast guys, there's slow guys, there's guys that are brand new to this, guys that have been running it for, like myself, 10 plus years.
Yeah. Well, and that,
So let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
How did you find, like, the guys that you have now, how did you find the crop that you have running? I mean, did they reach out to you, or were you actually kind of scouting for some of these people?
Mostly word of mouth. We started out, there was a small group that I had that I knew, they knew a lot of guys, fast guys, good guys, and we kind of just took that and morphed it, went from there to there to there. And also, I will say that our previous relationship with SimTV, that helped a lot. That's how we got some of our guys, Thomas Bressy and all the folks that he's brought in. That all stemmed from that, from a previous league that they had run that was on SimTV. Elwood, he came to us, and he brought a lot of folks. it's just kind of a mishmash, but it's mostly it's just been word of mouth.
We've been lucky enough. First off, we've got a lot of comments out here. So you kind of really answered the question I'm going to ask you, but I just want it to be very clear. So I'm going to ask it anyways. Joe Dinsmore did say, if strength of field is a thing in fuel, if you require a minimum in I rating.
Now, I don't care how fast or how slow you are, as long as you can keep your stuff in order and keep it clean. That's all I ask.
Absolutely.
That's why Nick's allowed to run.
What about me?
This man said.
I could be, Nick and me both. I mean, Adam, every time I get on the track, he hears, watch out for the 12. 12's rating is only 600.
And then I got to know something. I've had two comments out here. Will is a great guy, very fair, and that is another very good league to race in. And then same individual said, it's always been that way. Do you know Jason Swan?
Swanee!
So he knows him.
So here we go. A connection, right? So we know Jason Swan from AOLL. And he's out there commenting right now. So give us a little background to that, man. How do you know Jason? Obviously a great guy.
So Steel Horse Racing,
yep.
Team Swanee owns. They were one of, I guess you could say, the founding teams. And I'm not going to lie, we've had our drama like any league's going to have.
Absolutely.
People come, people go. Unfortunately, and I respect all the guys at Steel Horse, but unfortunately, that they kind of came and went as things happen. But no, Swanee's a great guy. I honestly kind of I miss running on track with him because he's 100% the type of folks that we want to have running.
I want to point out I also picked Jason Swan to win, so I do have a lot of respect for that. And obviously, so in AOLL, we actually have a lot of this SHR guys that run. Joe Dinsmore out there, he just sent, Steel Horse, hell yeah for the win. We've got Justin Anderson, we've got Steve Gottschalk. Actually, the funny thing is, Steve Gottschalk was supposed to be our guest tonight, didn't make it. He did send me a message eventually. I hope, everything with him's good, and we get this guy, on the podcast soon. But like I said, when it comes to everything that you guys do, man, we did a very formal, I want to say a very formal meet with you guys, right? When it came to the initial meet, and when I walked away from that, I mean, outside of the fact that they kept shutting my freaking mic off because I was about doing 90 million things, dude, I came super impressed with what you guys had to offer. I loved the energy, first and foremost. You guys seemed like a bunch of younger guys that were just about having a good time. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good league. They're going to do a lot of good racing. But then, like I said, I watched the Discord and everything like that. And you guys take no BS, man. I absolutely love that. Where did that breed at such a young age? Again, I don't know how old you are, but just, where did that breed from?
So, for the record, I am the youngest. I'm 25.
Fair enough.
But we're all...
You've been racing 10 years already? You're 25?
I got on iRacing when I was like 15, 16.
Wow.
But you were running R Factor and Papyrus before that too, huh?
A little bit. No,
Yeah.
I've been into racing since I was little, like 2001.
Wow.
But I've always
in high school at that point.
sorry.
I was winning championships back then when I was young.
But so I've been league racing in what I would consider good leagues now since at least 2012.
Right.
And I've seen how they've done stuff, and I don't want to. It's not like I tried to copy it, but I saw what they did right. I saw what they did wrong, and I wanted to take that and build on that and kind of make it my own.
Right way to do it.
So you were running iRacing at 15. I can't remember who it is, but don't we have a resident teenager in Fuel as well?
Yeah, Jackson. And he, going back to, I don't care how long you've been on the sim, as long as you can keep your stuff clean. And I think I told him this, so I don't feel too bad saying this, but he's only been on the sim now for about an extra 2 months beyond how long he's been running with us. So I was very surprised how clean he actually was. Yeah. I was kind of scared the first time he was going to hit the track, but I'm pleasantly surprised with that.
I was going to say, he's a frequent... He's frequently in the comments on our videos, and honestly, I've run around him a few times, and you would never guess that he couldn't legally drive a car.
Well, Converse is in the IVRL, and the guy he's running up front every time. I mean, he's just turned, I think, 15. Hey, when I was at New Summer Speedway, we had kids out there racing at 13 years old.
Well, let's be real, just for a second. Age doesn't depict speed, right?
Nope, it doesn't.
It depicts what depicts speed? Talent, ability to read a track, to know the line, know your ability, and put the car in the right situation, make yourself to go the fastest around the track, right? So a lot of these guys, man, you guys grow up so young, man. Like you said, you've been on this for 10 years. Before you even joined iRacing, did you do any racing before that? Like, did you have a base that brought you in?
No. I mean, like I said, from when I was like 6, 7 years old, I was playing racing video games. Thunder 2003, 2004 was the first. I had an Xbox when I was younger. It was the first games I had. I still have an Xbox. I still break it out every now and then, and play those just for old time's sake. But no, I mean, I've just always been into the sport, so it was just kind of a natural thing.
But
how did you find out about iRacing? What drew you to iRacing? You know, at that age.
So when I was playing R Factor way back when, it was like 2009 now. Maybe not the best choice of words there. Realizing that now. But back when I was on R Factor, it was like when iRacing was first starting out, and it was this whole big thing, and went on a few years, and was like, yeah, we'll get on there, and I got on, I fell in love, and now I spent way too much money on it.
Yes. The beta UI, you can actually see there's a progress bar of how much content you own. When I saw how far I had gone into that, it actually made me want to cry.
See, I've never looked at that, but
definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, right. Now I will as soon as I get off here.
Yeah.
I already know where I am on that because my first job I got when I was 17, and being young, dumb, not really going out much, and getting a decent paycheck for the first time, I'm like, ooh, content.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been 100% club for too long.
Yeah, and you know, just going back to that whole age thing, man, you know, you can weigh experience. I've seen kids that they come into sports or anything like that. They're like prodigies, right? Like you just come out of nowhere. Like, hey, this kid probably never done this, never, and they just come in and they dominate people that's been doing it for 10 years. And you're like,
guitar players all the time.
Yeah, and you're like, where does this come from? It's ridiculous. It's comprehension, stuff that we don't really understand. Like we always try to say, like, I mean, can somebody be as good as somebody that's just naturally talented? We call it naturally talented, right? Can they be? Yeah, sure they can be. Does it take them a lot longer, a lot harder to work at it? Yeah, it does, right? It's a lot more work. But when it kind of like what you said with your league, you guys don't look for a certain I rating, and you don't even look for experience. You just say, hey, if you can race clean, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I mean it's all attitude because at the end of the day, although yeah we've got some guys that I've got a guy that's made some ARCA starts or doing late models, or one of my other admins, he runs carts like every weekend.
Right.
There's some of those guys sprinkled in, but for most of us, this is probably as high as we're ever gonna get.
So I do have a quick question for you because I feel like Josh has a lot to say right now. So Josh, I'll shut up after this question for you.
No, you're.
I do have a quick question for you. When it comes down to this no BS attitude that you guys really have, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you guys have instilled of this respect. We're not going to deal with this attitude. You're not going to come in here with an ego. Like, just leave it at the damn door. At what point do you guys cut that off and say, hey, you got to just go. You got to go.
There is no hard and fast rule per se.
Right.
And that's actually something that I'm kind of happy that we were able to do. I don't feel like a lot of leagues necessarily can do this. But it's something that we did about 6 months to a year ago now, is we ditched our rule book. Like, we really don't have a rule book. Like, I'm coming to you. I've seen this enough times. You're doing this wrong. Shape up, or you're not welcome here anymore. And it's kind of an informal 3 strikes thing, honestly. It's like, okay, here's the issue. Fix it. Hey, we're still seeing this. Cut it out. Hey, go. Now, doing this long enough, because this isn't maybe surprising, isn't my first rodeo with this either. I had another project that I kind of did before Fuel for a couple years. And Alan's done this kind of stuff before. Mike's done this kind of stuff before. Calvin's been here the whole ride. Oh, damn it, I lost my train of thought.
You're getting old already.
Too many diesel fumes.
Hey, man. It happens. It happens.
Oof.
So we have the league starting when?
Close that. I believe it's July 20th. No, July 26th, I'm sorry. Early drafts we had July 20th, but we had to move back a week. But yeah, so July 26th, we were at Daytona. Follow that up with Homestead, Sebring, USA, 4-week, Florida Swing, Pocono, Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Kansas. Where's the break in there? After Kansas, got a week off, and then, and I don't know if we've actually announced this yet, so if not, here's the announcement. Red Bull Ring on September 27th.
Wasn't that you guys taking Mid-Ohio off the schedule? Because I remember being angry about that.
Mid-Ohio will find its way back.
Very nice.
Most likely next season, especially because that's one that we've been meaning to put on schedules for years now, and just never put it on there.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. And of course now finds its way on a schedule. Now it's bumped. But it's been a while since we've done like a European road course. We did Monza a few years ago, which I want to go back there. That was an amazing race. And especially now that we've actually got good road course talent too. Which for the longest time, our road races were, it's like one guy comes in, you might have one other guy that can kind of battle him for a little while, but then he just kind of goes off the distance. No, honestly, our road course racing, I feel like, especially over about the last year, is as good, if not even maybe better than our stock car, like our oval racing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be the first to admit, the Red Bull Ring is better than Mid-Ohio for these cars. It's got a lot long. It's got the longer straights. It's definitely going to be a better track for those cars.
And
So,
what car are we going to be
Mid-Ohio.
racing in the Premier League? Just for everybody out there, that is actually going to be announced.
So Premier is going to be Xfinity. That is set in stone. I know there was a little bit of talk about going to the Gen 7. That's not going to happen, not for this season. Maybe in the spring. But we want to go ahead and see the car, get some bugs worked out, get more real-world data in it, and just see how it's actually going to go before we pull the trigger on that.
Absolutely.
We tend not, although sticking to brand new tracks on the schedule is not holding to that very well, but we tend to try not to just throw all the new content in. There's certain exceptions we'll make, like a Nashville or a Red Bull Ring, but typically we'll try and wait a season or two.
All right, so if anybody out there listening is wanting to join, what's the best way to go through it and how to actually become part of the Premier League?
Twitter, Facebook, you can find us at FuelRL. You can also shoot us an email, racefuelrl@gmail.com. Or if you can find me on the iRacing forums or anywhere, Will Roberts, just shoot me a message and I will get you hooked up.
And what is the fee to join the league?
It's $15 for Premier. Sportsman is free, and I think there's only about 4 races left, but you still come out, give it a shot, and we're not just going to take your money and have you show up one race, be like, no, get out. Like come run Sportsman, give it a shot. Sportsman's free, and we'll take things from there.
Okay, sounds good.
So I got a quick question, but I actually have a question for Josh. So I know there was a little bit of talks. We talked about Daytona being the opener. Do you know where this is going, Josh?
Probably not.
There was a race before Daytona supposed to happen. You know what I'm talking
I do.
about? Is that still a thing? Is that what we're still talking about? It's 1 week in advance.
So that is going to... I will let you talk about that one.
Well, I want you to give the deets on it, and then we'll go a little further.
All right, so the week prior to the opening of the Fuel Premier Series, apparently we're doing an all-star race. I won't claim to understand the format, but that will be the first Fuel race being broadcast by Ghostfire Media.
Yeah, man, we want to take that race on, and we want that to be the official introduction to your league. Obviously, this was the introduction to your league to our podcast. We want to sell this league. We want this league to grow just as any other league that we broadcast. But obviously, we can go straight to Daytona, but we're thinking, let's hit this league up, man. Let's pull this league. And he had mentioned an all-star race, and it gives us 1 week to bring to our viewers, listeners, and let's put it out there, man. So what do you think?
So that works for me. Admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about the All-Star. I know I'm probably the worst person to be saying that, but that's pretty much been Alan. It's mostly been Alan's deal. And just due to work circumstances changing, which that should be all squared away here in a couple weeks. I haven't been too involved in that, but my understanding is basically, if you remember how All-Star qualifying used to be.
Yes.
It was, you go out, you do a lap, you come around, you do another lap, and then you pit in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's full speed, down into the pits, stop it, 4 tires, go, come back around, time. That's my understanding of what they're going for. Admittedly, I don't entirely know how that's getting scored, just due to some stuff iRacing has, but we'll get it figured out.
So
it would be the first time that we've done something a little oddball like that and found a way to make it work. I need to talk to y'all about how we're going to actually get those times up, because I do have some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So does Carl, actually, because we talked a little about this. Carl's a web developer, and he's got ideas.
Yeah. And
if you can get from a Google Google Doc over to.
That was exactly what he was.
Hey man, hey,
Because they can use their APIs. You should be able to put something directly.
I'm going to tell you right now. You talk to Josh and Carl. These dudes are, when it comes to computer savvy and writing code and all this stuff, these dudes are brilliant. We have brought the best people into this organization that will take care of you.
No, don't throw me into that loop. That's all. The product manager side of it, he's the one that can actually make things happen.
He does. And just, I'm sorry to cut everybody off, but Alan Elwood definitely just commented. He said, this All-Star race is going to be something not really seen by any league before. And this is why when it was brought to myself, Adam, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know out there, me and Adam's actually the one that kind of set this whole thing in motion. We've been lucky enough to surround ourselves by the greatest people that we could possibly find. Randy, Nick, Josh, Carl. And when we had brought this together and then Josh had brought this up to us with this All-Star race, it was something we're not going to we weren't going to let bypass, right? Like, how else can we introduce a league any better than this, right? Like, it's perfect.
I'm looking forward to it because one lap speed is probably going to be the only way I can keep up with you guys.
So that is going to be freaking just amazing. And I want to talk to you guys a lot more, not really a lot more, but just a little bit more offline about that. But we're gonna make this happen, I hope. And
even if it's just them watching my feed,
we're gonna make a feed happen. Again, we'll talk about all of that offline. I don't want to disclose any of the contract stuff online. So with that being said, I have nothing else, man. I mean, you've already taken care of how can we get a hold of these guys, how we can make this, you guys getting a hold of them, take care of. Can we get you guys back next week? Somebody, Friday night.
One of the drivers, somebody.
Yeah, we'll take a driver, anybody. We like hearing from the leagues.
You guys realize that next week we are due for another race, right?
Oh, that's right. We are due for another race, so we don't need anybody next week.
Hey, guess what? Well, no, we'll take multiple. We'll take multiple. Bring the drivers in. Let's have them all come in and race. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, and actually, with that being said, Justin Anderson had said Ghostfire Media should organize an all-star race between drivers from all leagues you cover. That could be amazing, like Ghostfire SRX or iRock. So let's get this in works. Josh, we can talk a little bit more about this week. I know.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there.
No, remember? You won't. But who's organizing it? Carl. Carl's organizing it. If I'm right.
This is supposed to be Carl's month for the fun race, and honestly, it will fit with this perfectly.
So perfect. So let's make it happen. I want to leave it out here with this. Will, pitch me your league, man. Give me some love for your league, buddy.
Elevator pitch.
Give me a love.
If you want the most competitive damn league on iRacing, come join Fuel.
I love it, man.
That's
perfect. That's perfect. I love it. Randy, take me home, baby.
Well, you've been watching the Ghostfire Media Podcast. It's Friday night. That's what it's all about. You want to make sure you watch next week here on Friday night, once again at 8 o'clock. We'll run till just a little after 10 o'clock, as always. And don't forget about Sunday night. It's the AOLL from Nashville Super Speedway. The stars of the AOLL will be there racing. And then on Tuesday night, the IVRL Butt Kicker Series will be. I can't speak tonight. What the hell?
I don't know. You're not even drinking.
I know. It's late. It's past my bedtime.
And some people's pudding time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Tuesday night we're going to have the IVRL Butt Kicker Series, and we'll see what happens with no Joshua Gathright in the field. And then Wednesday night we're going to have the AOL Sportsman Division racing at Talladega Super Speedway. And then is going to be TNT Series, the final race of this part of the season. Can Josh Laston win the final race? Can he get his points back? That is the big question. Can Tim St. Jean beat John Comedy for the win? We will find out all the action on Thursday night, and then we'll be back here again, once again, Friday night. So from the Daytona Beach studio, or Ormond Beach studio, because I don't want to say Daytona because I'm
North Carolina
up there. Josh is in the middle of nowhere, and
he's in Ohio, man. Greatest state in the freaking AO, man. Come on now.
Oh, that's a matter of opinion. Will, where are you from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Where are you at?
Raleigh.
Oh, shit. Carolina. Hey, me and this man about to go get a beer, man. Y'all leave us alone.
Yeah, we'll leave you alone. All right, so this has been the Ghost Fire Media podcast. We'll see you next week, and so long.